here. Councilman Palmer, is absent.
Here.
I'm sorry, said it.
Councilman Palmer is excused.
Okay.
Okay.
Here. Councilwoman Lipka,
Here. Can you hear me?
and Mayor Johnson.
Here, a quorum is present. At this time, we move to our public comments. We ask that you will speak up when you come to the podium. You have 3 minutes. And Clerk Pittman, how would you like to proceed?
Okay, I'll proceed with the first person. We have, looks like 2 online and then, those in the audience. So first here we have Rick Bonifer.
My wife and I have been residents of Ferguson for 4 years now, same house. Randolph, Florida. It's been very peaceful and nice. Everything's gone good there for years. And about 6, 7 years ago, we had a bar. There was a woman across the street in a house, and I used to cut grass and stuff. When she died, the house was purchased and became commercial without any notice to any residents. It became a bar. And since then, we've had called police many, many times on noise, parking. The parking is still a pretty good issue. There was a lot of bikers in there for quite a few years, and noise was terrible. Said, bad. Lately, it's been fairly good. But parking is really bad. There's new business across the street from it. They put out homes to park there. They park across the street on the wrong side, and nothing happens all the time. Anyway, about a week after New Year's this year, my wife was going through the house and there was a hole in her curtain. She looked and raised up the curtain and a hole in the window. And then we looked through the house, I opened the door. In the next room, went into the headboard of the wall, and went over to the back wall of our house. Called the police. I've got a police report, and they looked at it. We told him he wanted a date, and he called us back a couple days later and asked for a date. We didn't know the date because where it hit the headboard and it went through the door was in the back room we don't use. She was in there cleaning and saw the stuff on the floor of the bed. She saw the headboard we had, and then looked at the wall and saw the hole. We think it was around the 8th because that's when our ring doorbell started getting crazy. Got all kinds of stuff. We didn't get the actual shoot shot. And then the officer told us there was an incident at the bar of the shooting. Our neighbors all told us it was upon the 8th. And it was about 9 o'clock at night. Our ring doorbell started off about 8:30. But anyway, that bullet went right down the hall of our house. My wife was walking through there. It was right about our chest level. So we're just fed up with this place and we want to know if anything can be done with it. So many police reports are calls on the scene. I don't know about reports. That's what I have to say. We love Ferguson. It's very nice, and that's just been a sore. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeff Galonia,
Jewish bar?
Board members, Parks and Rec Board, and Councilwoman did question at the last board meeting on who I am. I have a United States veteran. Recently relocated to Ferguson with family for better opportunities. We've been living before. We all had worked really too hard to just make the team purchase home. And since purchasing our home, I joined the Forest Development Organization. I'm also really active in our Forestwood Neighborhood Association. I've been to every single meeting since arriving to Ferguson. I would also like to invite Councilwoman Lipka and Councilman and Palmer to our meetings. There are our Forestwood Neighborhood Association meeting services both Ward 1 and Ward 3. So it would be great if we actually have some of their records. They
Thank you.
Veronica LeGrand.
Everyone.
Good evening.
The house that's next door to mine, I live on West Florissant. I've been at this house for 8 years now. I came when they had the riots and stayed. There's a house next door to me, 414 North Morrison Road, that's been vacant. Ever since I've been there. And in this house, we now have squatters. I have grandchildren. I'm afraid because it's so dark over there to even let them out during the summer. So I've tried to occupy the house. I've applied for the house with the county. We can't seem to get around certain, I don't know what you call it, but we can't get around in order to buy the place. And so I'd like to say, call the police, there's squatters living in there. And it's very dangerous because it's very dark where I live. There's only like 4 houses on the street. And when my children go in the backyard, the house is right next door. My husband and I have cut the grass, cut the weeds, just to keep it down for, I guess, 4 years. And last year we just decided we're not gonna do it anymore because we tried to purchase the house. So anybody can do anything or find out any information about who actually owns the house so that you can purchase it. It's not like we're trying to get it free or anything, we're trying to purchase the house. Anyway, I would like for us to resolve that problem. The grass doesn't get cut unless we cut it, and it's dangerous. So, thank you.
Thank you. Could you leave the information about the house with our city clerk? Thank you.
Adrian Shropshire.
I have to read it. First of all, before I go any further, I want to thank the Ferguson Police Department. They're doing a great job. I see them up on Planet Fitness's lot, and that's where they break in during the day. They don't care, it could be noontime. So they're stationing themselves strategically on Planet Fitness's lot. I see them around town, and just to give you a little insight, I saw a guy parked in a double park up at Snooks. Officer Brittany, he had 3 kids with him parking lot. She was being more than helpful with him to get his car moved, to get his groceries in, and usher them to get that space open. So I want to say the police department, they're doing their job. Now, Public Works, they're doing a great job. No ice, plenty of salt. They must have knew what was happening because I thought it was excessive, but no, it wasn't. So sometimes you have to wait and see and then make your comments then afterwards. There's a few things I'd like to say starting out here. I think we need to really take a look at and just make some adjustments. Degrading the city council or council people. There's no need for that. We're all equal. It hurts me to see other citizens degrading other citizens just for no reason. Let me move on. There's a few things that I think that our citizens feel left out. We started out the neighborhood as far as the flag. Nobody gave it out this year. Pride of the neighborhood. We started it and it felt like a hot potato. We need to have more involvement with our citizens. This is the most we've had in our city council meeting since the last time we needed to have something going on with their. We need to enhance our city council, make the citizens feel like they're at home. A few things that I think we could do is have chili cook-offs, community barbecues, and other things that draw our citizens and make them feel wanted. One thing I was hurt to see, and that was on social media. If you're tired of the violence, in your neighborhood, come and join the Ferguson Coalition. That is bad. Horrible. And I was embarrassed for our city to see that come up. Because once it's online, you can say it, forget it, but once it's printed, it's there. And for something like that to happen in our community, and none of the council people spoke up to say, hey, look, we don't need this. We're trying to become a city that is being recognized for equality, for movement, for progress. I was hurt, so, I'm just one citizen, but for me living here 38 years, that would be something I would wake up to at 7 in the morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shropshire.
Mayor and council,
Good evening.
over the years, quite a few of us have spoken on the issue of conflicts of interest. Even the Neighborhood Policing Steering Committee thought it was such an important topic that they spent months debating the provisions of the conflict of interest ordinance. Recent council actions have produced a host of rulings and proposals that raise concerns about conflicts of interest and equity. A bill proposed by Mr. Palmer, currently tabled, seeks to penalize businesses for their landlord's failure to pay property taxes. Although paying taxes is a valid concern, the amounts owed pale in comparison to the EST payments and TIF benefits that Mr. Palmer has received from the city. According to Elliot Leibson's reporting, the city provided Mr. Palmer with more than $500,000 in benefits, while Mr. Palmer's bill seeks to recoup several tens of thousands. Another of Mr. Palmer's tabled bills would place new restrictions on used car lots. While pushing for passage of this bill, Mr. Palmer simultaneously applied for a special use permit for a used car lot on 2 of his South Florissant properties. He made this request even though it is a direct violation of the zoning ordinance he so strongly defended in the past. Further, his bill gives the strong impression that it's trying to put the car dealership out of business. A posting on a local blog site gave the impression that Mr. Palmer's property tax bill was aimed at the old Sports Grid building, now housing Kathy's Kitchen as one of its tenants. Mr. Palmer already owns almost all of the buildings to the south and west of this building. Coupled with his amendment of the special use permit for the proposed daycare center north or South Berkeley High School, many people feel Mr. Palmer is using the seat of the dais to force these owners to sell their buildings so he can acquire them. I warned before that the multifaceted nature of Mr. Palmer's business ventures will continue to raise questions about his conflicts of interest. Whether coincidental or intentional, connections between his business activities and his council actions inevitably raise concerns for many in our community. Members of the council excuse Mr. Palmer's presence on the dais by saying he is doing good for the city. That is irrelevant. He could still provide valuable help for private residents. Instead, every action he takes while seated on the dais raises suspicion and brings into question the legitimacy of the entire council. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nick Cassoff.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I want to address the conflict of interest. Before I do, I wanted to let this gentleman know about the shootings. There was actually 2 of them. One of them was apologized, and it was disrupted for got fired and went out of and then another one, there was people breaking cars, not at Montreux, a commercial building, and somebody walked out, and caught the car, the bridge car, shot it. So that's what happened. The commercial building next door between market. And it was the car. They've had a huge amount of trouble with break-ins all up and down the road. It's gonna be a drag on our businesses. But, and the lady with interested in the house talked to me after the meeting. I've got some information on that. Now, as far as conflict of interest goes, look, you're absolutely right. If he was using his vote on council to give himself money, that would be a conflict of interest. But it didn't happen. The money that Mike Palmer got from EDST and TIF happened before he was on council. He wasn't an elected official at all. And so there's no conflict of interest there, and the fact that he's on council now is completely irrelevant. Mr. Palmer did put in a bill demanding that that property owners pay their property taxes. I've got to pay taxes on my house, all y'all do too. And we actually have an ordinance that's been on the books, I believe, since the mid-70s, that a liquor licensee cannot be in a building with delinquent taxes. That's been on the books for decades, but we haven't been enforcing it. We've got a bar or one of those seedy liquor stores down on Chambers that's several years behind on their taxes. The building where Kathy's Kitchen was behind, but after Palmer introduced the bill, they paid it up. The most tax delinquent building in the entire city is that big dilapidated strip mall on West Florissant, but I don't think we have any liquor licensees in there. But hey, if you're a landlord, you gotta pay your taxes. That's just the bottom line. There's no conflict of interest there. Now, is it a conflict of interest when a member of council votes on bill to repave streets and the street in front of their house gets repaved? Is it a conflict of interest when the mayor's ward gets more streets repaved than other wards? Of course not. It's ridiculous. We can't look at every little thing that people sitting up here do and say, oh, conflict of interest, conflict of interest. These people are charged with making decisions for the community in which they live, and that by necessity affects their neighborhood, their street, and their life. That doesn't make it a conflict of interest for the mayor or for anybody else sitting up there on council. And I wish we would move on to working on things that move this forward instead of this picky little stuff.
Thank you, Mr. Castle.
Shirley Emerson.
Good evening, council.
Good evening.
I'm Shirley Emerson, and I'm representing the Forestwood Community Development Corporation, as well as the Forestwood Neighborhood Association. And I'm coming to speak about the designation or proposed designation of historic district for Northland Hills. Several years ago, actually it was in 2002, the Forestwood Neighborhood Association decided to explore this process of designating Northland Hills as historic. So at that time, we met with Elliot Leibson, Director of Planning. Elliot informed us of some steps that we need to go through in that process. The first step being to have a neighborhood informational meeting with the residents that would be in the targeted area. Elliot explained that this was a meeting that the city would send a letter, one city letterhead, to the residents inviting them to come out to this meeting, and he would be there to explain the entire process, to answer questions, and give them an opportunity to decide if they wanted to pursue this. Subsequent to that, we were also informed that the Economic Sales Tax Commission, had allocated $40,000 to Forestwood for the purpose of getting this historic designation project. So we were waiting, we were working with Elliot, we were coming up with the agenda, and at that time, that's when he got another job, and so the project was put on hold. And we were told, we checked periodically, we were told that we would be able to get it started again when someone else was hired in that position. So now we are working and getting the position, getting that project started again. But we're concerned because we did receive notice from the city that they would not be able to send a letter, an invite letter to the residents, that was something we would have to do. And we also have questions now about the money. We did not pursue the project at that time. So there was none, that money should have been spent. So we are wondering now and hoping that the money that was put in aside for that is still there, the $40,000. That's what we would like to know. Also, we'd like to know in the next meeting where the Economic Development Tax Commission is, because it's been a while since they've had it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Shirley.
Next, we'll move to Zoom. First, I have Erica Brooks.
Good evening. My name is Erica Brooks, and I am questioning about something that I mentioned at the Jet Ski Park meeting, which is about the infrastructure for the Mailing Trail and it being in a floodplain zone. And I was told that I would have to speak to the Greater Greenway Company, but in doing that, I know that the city had to, in some way, work with them, partner with them, and understand what the blueprint was going to be as far as the infrastructure is concerned. And like I was mentioning, that was the main area where the flooding took place about 2 years ago along that trail, and mainly where I live at, which is off of Mueller, where houses were flooded ridiculously, like basements were flooded, flooding everywhere. I mean, I was up at 5 o'clock in the morning to witness the water rushing from people's driveways. And so I'm saying that to say, well, what is the pursuit of being able to be informed about their infrastructure that they're going to have to reduce, if not eliminate, the flooding in that area? And how is it being rerouted? Are there going to be some retaining walls that's not going to allow the water to even come into neighborhoods? Where will that water be rerouted to? And also, who will be responsible for the upkeep of that? You know, will there be taxes that will increase in our neighborhood that we have to vote on to help Greater Greenway to maintain that trail being that's going through our neighborhood? Also, I wanted to talk about the lighting situation. We had mentioned a while ago about being able to use ARPA funds. And side note, where is the itemized list to show where the funds are at, if there are any left? Are those funds going to be used to replace the regular lighting with LED lighting? Has the Public Works Department worked with the Ameren company to find out which lights are theirs and which ones are actually the city's lights? And where is that project at? You know, have they started replacing lights that needed to be replaced? And also, I want to mention that I've seen a lot of dogs running around in neighborhoods. I know on my street in particular, on Mueller, it was like within a week's time, I saw a massive pit bull running through the neighborhood. Next, I saw 2 German Shepherds. And then the last day I saw a poodle that was running down Suburban and ran down on my street. And I'm trying to find out what is the whole state of rules and regulations for people that have dogs in the neighborhood, because it's very unsafe not knowing when you're going to come home or walk through the neighborhood and you have a massive dog running around the neighborhood. So if I can get some answers about those situations, like I said, about the ARPA funds, where we never saw an itemized list to show where the money had been spent and where it's at right now as far as what is being spent on. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Brooks.
And last, Cassandra Butler.
Good evening, council. I want to say Happy New Year. So I do want the council to know I understand all the time and effort that you put in um, doing the work for the city, and I do appreciate the time and effort, even though I have criticisms. I do want you to know I do appreciate the work you do. With that said, actually, I'm gonna rearrange what I wanted to say based on some of the comments I heard. But first of all, I want to request, can we have an up-to-date ARPA report? That's a request. And also, I want to ask for a report for the economic development sales tax, how that's been used and where that stands. And I think it's almost criminal that we haven't turned in the annual reports that we promised that we would turn in once we begged them to forgive us for not turning in the others. So that makes me really sad. What I wanted to say originally is that I wanted to ditto Alan's comments about conflicts of interest. And since Nick made some points to say that it doesn't matter, I'm changing my comments to say it does matter and how it does matter. Yeah, so Nick's argument is that purchase the tax increment financing money or whatever incentives was given before the council member got on the council. And yes, so he assembled the property with the incentives before he got on the council. But now he assembles the property and businesses rent from him. And so when you talk about somebody amassing enough property, like 50% or more of the properties on a main business district street, that gives businesses who want to move in less people that they can negotiate contracts with. It sort of almost gives him almost a monopoly on what price he can set, and he's going to continue to make money off of it. But if you give him the advantage of being able to control the market, make it less competitive on that street, he's going to continue to benefit. So yes, when you have ordinances that say, oh, let's squeeze the business owner and make them not be able to do business with a liquor license so they can squeeze the landlord who might be having some difficulties. And so the landlord says, this is too much for me, so let me sell to that council person, and he amasses more. So no, that is a weak argument. How much time do I have left?
Like 10 seconds, Ms. Butler.
Okay, thank you. I also want this council to consider unintended consequences of some of the ordinances they have, particularly for people who have had hardship during the pandemic, and we are given money from the federal government and ARPA to help them. So let's not punish them because they might be having some difficulties with unnecessary ordinances. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Butler. Do we have anyone else? Okay, the public comments are closed. We move to our manager's report. City Manager John Hampton, do you have a report?
Yes, ma'am. Mayor, council, pleasure being here tonight in front of everyone. First off, I'll start off with the fire department update. In the last 6 days, we've had 12 structure fires. And with the ice storm, we had numerous accidents, but also people appeared to have stayed home, taking the warning from the news. And also I want to give Public Works a great shout out for what the job they did during the storm. The fire department's almost fully staffed. We're down one because of my situation. But we're working on that now. That's it with the fire department, and we'll be getting our truck in August. It got pushed back again because of, supply chain issues.
Chief, can you speak into the microphone a little more? I'm getting,
Sure. Where we are with the houses that are being torn down, we are still waiting on Ameren and Spire to do their jobs of disconnection. So that's why you're not seeing any houses being torn down currently. We've asked the county to look at our taxes. We don't want to have the same situation that Brentwood's in, or I believe it's Brentwood, where they paid Brentwood more taxes than they deserved. So we're asking the county to make sure that we haven't been underpaid and or overpaid. So we have better, John, our finance director, is taking care of that. Talking on the break-ins, I was on the phone with the judge today, and this problem is just not in Ferguson. Yes, we do have our own police force, and Chief Doyle is going to be addressing it more and more as we increase our manpower, our personnel power, police officers on the street. And then the lighting situation that's being brought up. We have been working with Ameren. We already have been starting to replace with LED lights throughout the city. But some of them need new fixtures, new poles, and that also costs money. And then just like on West Florissant, just to put up more lights, it's gonna cost us over $100,000. So, but we are gonna take advantage of the county's plan to redo up from Solway up to Stein. And at that point, we'll have lights on both sides of the street, and they'll be paid through that project. So right now, we're still discussing whether or not we get into a TDD with Delwood, Ferguson, and Jennings for the maintenance portion of that project. It'll be happening on West Florissant. Currently, that's my report to you, Mayor.
Thank you.
You know.
Would you like to share about charter?
Yeah, one more last thing. Charter, we got a check, I believe it was last year, right around May or something like that. And it was a settlement, and they gave us, I think it was $400,000, and they told us to hold on to the check. Well, now that the charter settlement is done and over, we will also receive another additional check, which we will deposit into general funds.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for the city manager? Hear none. The city manager's report is closed. We move to the special presentation. City manager, do you have any presentations?
Yes.
Special.
Yes, Mayor, Council. The first, I'll call up Rachel St. Pierre. She will do the special presentations on the whistle stop.
Good evening.
So we do have, one applicant that emailed us later today and said that she's going to be unable to take it. Her name is Clay. We do have Shanta Larry and Veronica Pro here in the audience and their presentations. And you should have all of that material in your packets. Veronica, I will let her take the floor.
Once again. When I first moved to Ferguson, it was thriving and people meet together at libraries and eateries. I would visit the Whistle Stop Cafe and admire the historical art effects. Then the riots came and COVID. I would like to be a business owner, maybe the Whistle Stop Cafe. Together with improved parking, lighting, general appearance of the building, I hope to transform the depot into a comfortable eating establishment for residents, as well as for a unique travel destination for visitors to St. Louis and consequently Ferguson, Missouri. In 2024, I'd like to, the Whistle Stop also to be able to do DoorDash in keeping with today's current marketplace. Local companies that compete in food service market all produce good foods, but the great food at the Whistle Stop Cafe will stand out not only in the Ferguson area, but will also be known all over St. Louis and in many other cities and states. There's no other competition for Whistle Stop Cafe. Its history alone is noteworthy. With plenty of advertisement, we plan to cater to colleges, universities, and with delicious steak, burgers, fries, pizza, hot dogs, chicken tenders, nuggets, and great desserts, we would like to be able to target a diverse crowd of people. Not motivated by emotion or greed or the desire to impress others, we want to give our best possible effort to promote good tasting food with friendly service. Because our business is an indoor-outdoor facility, the cafe will be operational year-round. The cafe will be one of a kind and located in the heart of Ferguson, so it would not be hard to find. We also plan to invite popular public figures from time to time to do storytelling for the children. We'll have school events, things that will promote the Whistle Stop Cafe. Some of the services and products that we will be producing would be soups, of course, salads, ice cream, that type of thing, chicken and dumplings, homemade chili, peach cobbler, foods that will bring in families to build up the Whistle Stop Cafe. Of course, our target business would be anyone and everyone that would come to support us. We'd like to put Ferguson Whistle Stop back on the map, build it up, and make it a great part of Ferguson. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
We got a discussion later. Could you repeat your name again, please? Okay.
Sign up on
Speaking to the mic, please.
Evening, everyone in attendance, and good evening, Council and Mrs. Mayor Jones. My sincerest gratitude for your attendance this evening. I'm here in regards to the whistle shop, and I'm interested in consuming the location. It has been closed down for years, and I've always closed by and always commended myself being at the location. I've looked at other locations and they would be wanting for one moment. I'm an entrepreneur, Better Family Life Cultural Center, entrepreneur twice at that location. I work with Fox, I'm a little nervous, so let me slow down. I work with Fox 2 News and Timmy Zell and Kim Jones, Kimberly Guts, which no longer works here. I use Fox 2 News as my marketing ability to get my name on the table. I've worked with Charter and Spectrum. Today, I live there. I'm becoming the paid for recipient between national small businesses. Spectrum will be assisting me with the funds that I need to upgrade the building. I also work with Operation Food Search, and I also work with food bank to do food giveaways on a monthly basis. I will create a new menu. I have Ferguson residents that have visited my booth at the Ferguson Farmers Market, where I've done that for about 7 years. I've also done the pay Ferguson for 2 years. I'm kind of familiar with community rights and the things that they're used to. In addition to that, I'm going to provide community unity. We had bad vibes with the Mike Brown situation and other things that are happening, and I wanted to introduce good energy, good food, fresh, affordable prices, and something different to bring into. I really enjoy the entity and how I feel in the community. I live in the community as well, and I just have a lot of love for Ferguson. A lot of people know me in Ferguson. Again, I work for Fox News, I work in the Spectrum, and I have a lot of people that are supporting me at this moment. for this foundation. If it does not work, I still will be available to people reach me. I work with DoorDash and Grubhub, and I also provide them with that's a good catering. It's gonna be a household favorite, and it's very excited to be here, and thank you all for your time. I have some letters that we're gonna bring. For current references and recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you. Thus in the special presentation for the Whistle Stop. Our next one.
Yeah, Mayor, thank you again. This time I'll call Dave Musgrave up.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, City Council. Our next presentation is actually on Zoom, screen, but the presentation is about a company called Grant Match. There's some information in your packet about it. Basically, it's an opportunity for us to write additional grants, well, the company to write additional grants for us funding, to help fund our capital program.
Hi, everyone. Is everyone able to hear me? It's Gibson from Grant Match here.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Great. So thanks for the time to speak this evening, everyone. I just want to share a few details about our service offering. I represent a company called Grant Match, and we specialize in securing government grant funding for municipalities across North America. We secured over $300 million in federal, state, and regional grants over the years. I've been working with Grant Match for over 5 years now, and the company's been around for about 25 years. The reason we exist is because many municipalities truly do struggle in understanding what grants are available to them and having the resources, the time, the expertise, and the know-how to pursue all government grant opportunities for their various departments and community needs. Many of the community leaders, many of which would be in attendance this evening, struggle to find the time with all their other many responsibilities to go after and search for and identify all of these available grants as they open and close throughout the year. And what we do at Grant Match, we're a team of grant writers. And our grant writers come from a lot of really diverse backgrounds. They're often former government employees. They are people who work at federal and state funding programs. They're academics, people who really understand how to write and position grant applications for maximum success. We use some pretty awesome data and intelligence. We have the leading grant software to allow us to absorb details of a community's projects, specifics on a projects, and give you a very detailed plan as to which projects are eligible for which grants. And we work on this plan with you, and we write as many grant applications as you need us to throughout the year. And we only charge a fee if we're successful in securing you the grant. This is a way for a community to really de-risk this process, avoid paying costly consultants who charge by the hour or on a per project basis. And we simply charge a fee when we're successful in getting you the grant. If we're unsuccessful, there is no fee. To be very transparent for everyone in attendance, our fee structure is as follows. Our fee on any funding less than $1 million is 10%. So if we get you $1 million grant, our fee would be 10%. If we get you anything over $1 million, our fee is 5% on any funds greater than $1 million. This is an excellent solution for a community that has a long list of community needs across infrastructure, economic development, roads, bridges, parks, recreation, community, culture, all of these sort of areas. We are very comprehensive in our approach, and the community can communicate to us what their priorities are, and we will work with your financial department and your staff to prioritize which government programs that you're eligible for and that fit your community needs and your projects, and pursue them on your behalf. That is, in essence, my presentation today. I wanted to keep it very short and to the point. I've been chatting with David and some other colleagues as well, going over in greater detail how our service works, but David was kind enough to invite me here this evening to share this with the community and to answer any questions that the community might have about our service offering and how we approach it.
Thank you. Is that Councilwoman Lipka? You have your hand up?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask, sir, you were saying that the grant opportunities are based on if we receive the grant, but I am always looking for things, and I'm always finding like really obscure random grants that I shoot over to some of the city employees. I'm like, hey, this might be of interest to you. Do you think this would work in this department or work in that department? Would a council member like myself be able to continue to do something like that? How does the overall research and choosing of grants happen? I mean, I still able to send those over to you now, or what?
I can
Yeah,
answer
of course. Go ahead.
I can answer that. Yeah, so we've sat on this presentation a couple of times. Yes, ma'am, you'd be able to send that to me. Well, with Grant Match, we would tell them the grants we want to go for, because ultimately we have to have it in our budget. So we have to prepare, if this is $1 million grant, we have to have $100,000 set aside, right? So we have to know, we just can't go for every grant, because we have to be able to make sure that we have the funds to pay for that 10% of whatever they would need. And then also some of the grants are 80-20 and things like that. So we have to make sure that when we go for the grant, that it's going to be the grant that fiscally can fit in our community. So those grants that you would come across, you would send to me, then I would get with our team, and then we could send them on to Grant Match. If not this year, the following year, as long as it fits in our fiscal plan for the year.
Okay, and that I would also just like to add a little side note that when we do have those meetings with you as council members and as a council as a whole, kind of getting a plan of what we want to tackle for the year or the coming years would allow more focused looking for particular grants. I know I'm not making a lot of sense. I apologize, but it would allow me to focus more on what you want to have versus me just finding a whole lot of stuff and sending it to you because I think it might help.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Councilwoman Lipka. Anyone else?
I do have one other thing to add to this. With Grant Match, some grants will actually pay for our Grant Match to do the work, but not all. But it's in the grant on how it's written. Some grants says, they'll pay for help with the assistance of writing the grant, and those will be covered in that. So that money would not come out of Ferguson at that point. So this is just another way for Ferguson to try to get more money, because we do not have a grant writer, and we all are trying to be specialists in our own departments. But if we actually have a special team, I think this is something that Ferguson needs. And obviously, this is not something we're going to vote on tonight, but it will come to you in the next council meeting as a resolution.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Mr. Gibson.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. The special presentation section is closed. We don't have any public hearings for tonight. We move to our consent agenda. Our city council meeting minutes, the regular meeting for January the 9th, 2024. I request a motion and a second to approve the meeting minutes.
So move, Naquita Noah.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The meeting minutes are approved. We move to the minutes of boards and commission. We have the Civilian Review Board for 12/4/23 and the Human Rights Commission for 10/16/23 and 11/20/23. I request a motion and a second to receive and file the meeting minutes.
So moved, Linda Lipka.
Second, Blake Ashley.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. The minutes are to be filed. We don't have an appointment for tonight. request and a proclamation. So we move to our resolution, resolution number 2024-3. Without objections, we're introduced by council members present. Hear none. Attorney Carey, could you please read the resolution?
Yes, ma'am. Resolution number 2024-03, a resolution of the city of Ferguson authorizing the city manager to negotiate a contract with Weiss Design Group for ARPA-funded 2023-2024 street improvements.
City Manager Hampton.
Mayor, council, last council meeting, as we discussed, we messed up, and this time we did bring you the RFQ for this. So, and we still would like to go with the Weiss Design Group.
Councilwoman Lipker, your hand is up.
No, I'm sorry, please
You
disregard.
fine? Oh, okay. All right, I'm requesting a motion and second for approval.
So moved, Heather Robinette. Second, Naquita Noah.
Clerk Pittman, could you please call the roll?
Robinette.
Aye.
Mayor Jones.
Aye.
Councilwoman Lipka.
Aye.
Councilwoman Nelson. Councilwoman Noah.
Aye.
Councilman Ashby.
Aye.
Resolution number 2024-3 passes. We don't have any bills requiring first reading. We move to bills requiring second reading. At this time, bill number 7267, I'm requesting a motion and a second to read the bill a second time and place it upon its passage.
So move, Linda Lipka.
Robinette.
City Manager Hampton, you would like to speak?
Yes, Mayor, at this time, if possible, could we amend the bill to start in July 1st with the new fiscal year?
City Manager is seeking a motion and a second to amend the bill that it will start July 1st, 2024-2025 budget year.
Do we need to make a new motion or put this one on the floor and then
No, you
start?
need a new motion. You need a new motion for the amend.
But, okay, before we do that though, Mayor, I would like to remove my motion from the floor, my original one.
In my second.
You don't
And-
have to remove it.
You don't have to do that to
You don't have to do that. You
Okay,
make
I make a motion. Okay, I make a motion to accept this bill with a start date of July 1st, 2024.
Second.
Okay.
Robinette.
The bill has been amended. Clerk Pittman, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Lipka.
Aye.
Nelson. Aye. Councilwoman Noah.
Aye.
Councilman Ashby.
Aye.
Councilwoman Robinette.
Aye.
Mayor Jones.
Aye.
That's on the amendment.
Okay,
So now they have to vote for the bill as amended.
right. That's amended. So we just voted to amend the bill. Now we need to vote to pass the bill
As amended.
as amended. Okay,
I make a
I'm sorry.
motion to,
Hold on.
hold
First of
on.
all, we do have a motion on the floor, but give me just 1 second.
I need to read the bill before we, so. all right,
Okay, Attorney Carey, could you read the bill the second time as amended?
for sure. Bill number 7267, an ordinance amending certain sections within Division 3 of Article 6 of Chapter 2 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Ferguson relating to the city's pension plan and fund as amended.
Great, okay, now can we vote?
So now, Councilwoman Lipka, we're voting on the bill as as amended, but you did already make the motion. So
Okay.
Councilwoman Lipka,
aye.
Councilwoman Nelson, Councilwoman Noah,
Aye.
Councilman Ashby,
Aye.
Councilwoman Robinette,
Aye.
Mayor Jones.
Aye. Bill number 7267 passes as amended. Do we have any unfinished business for tonight?
Mayor, I don't know if this, I'm sorry.
Okay, Councilwoman Lipka?
I don't know if you want to call this unfinished business or if you want to put it in new business. So I will let you make that determination because it is something that's been ongoing. We have a situation, we've had a long-going situation with our residents not receiving their mail. There's been a lot of issues that have been involving our postal service. Also, you know, we had last year a situation where a lot of residents' mail, bills, checks were found in a dumpster in Ferguson. So, you know, it's not something that is just once in a while. It's become a very serious problem. And I have received letters and phone calls from residents who are not getting their mail. I mean, like the lady literally had birthday cards that her friends and family sent her. And she knows for a fact because they called her and said, how come you didn't say anything about your birthday card? She never got them. So, I mean, not only are people not getting their mail, but they're wondering where is all the mail going? So I understand that it is not something that the city of Ferguson has automatic control over, but under unfinished business, because this is an ongoing problem, is why I brought it up here. I would like to request that we as a city and as a council have a conversation with the Postmaster General because something's not right. Something is going on and our citizens are having their bank accounts messed up and so forth. And this lady's had to pay late fees. She's like over 70 years old. She's never been late on her bills. Now she's getting hit with late fees because her bills don't come to her. And so I'm just concerned.
City manager.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, I know Chief Doyle has been talking to the post office. You know, we had a big issue with our checks being washed as well. Got hit pretty hard. A lot of the North County cities have gotten hit pretty hard. So we are working on that. We have addressed some of these issues that you're bringing up, Councilwoman. But you know, if I would just say maybe that they talk to one of the police officers as well, so they can keep it. Like the person you said may not know about it. And then they.
Excuse me, if you all are going to leave, please leave quietly. Thank you.
We hear it. We know we're working on it. We're doing the best we can.
Is there anything, Chief Hampton, that we as council members can tell our citizens when they call us so upset? I mean, what can I tell them to help them feel like they're not alone on this?
So I think they could also contact the post office as well, make a formal complaint there as well. That will strengthen Chief Doyle's complaints and potential investigation into some of the stuff our investigation through the post office that is going on right now.
Okay. That is all I had, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Lipka. Any other unfinished business, old business? Hear none. We move to new business, the discussion of the whistle stop request for proposal results. Council, it is now open for discussion. For the whistle stop.
Yeah. Did you want me to bring Rachel up? Do you have any-
Yeah.
Rachel, please come to the podium.
So I know that you've had a draft of a contract, and I'm going to reiterate that it's a draft and that we would like to enter into contract negotiation because there is a lot of things in that contract that needs to be discussed, period. And anything as far as the rent amount, the historical status of the building, the repairs that need to be made to the building, which is responsible for what. So I really want to make sure that you guys are taking a solid look at that and making the best decision that we can possible. And I know that both of the applicants are more than happy to answer any questions that you may have regarding their business. I can't speak for that. I can speak for the contract and the resolution. That's all I have. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Councilwoman Lipka.
So, Ms. St. Pierre, I just have a question on the packet of information that was given to us. There was a section and it was kind of confusing. So I saw Chef Nisi's presentation section. I saw the Kiki, I think it is, presentation. And then there was Miss Veronica's presentation, but then there were these numbers, you know, they were financials, but they were from 1988 and 1989. And then there was something in here talking about currently property holds the Cleveland ice cream parlor. And the header was encyclopedia.com. Could you kind of clarify what that is?
I believe that was part of Veronica LaGrone's presentation packet and her proposal.
Okay. All right. I was just concerned as to the dates of those financials and how that played into 2024. So that's all my confusion was.
Councilman Blake.
And it wasn't clear to me, are all three of these companies currently in operations and generating revenue, or are only two of them, or is one of them a startup? Are any of them actually in business right now? An idea of what kind of revenue they're doing?
I can't hear you, Rachel.
Blake had asked about if they have current revenue sources, and I said that they could speak to that.
Can we call each member?
Mayor, as they're doing that, may I ask, is the third candidate still a viable candidate, or is that person withdrawing themselves?
Withdraw.
Okay.
Can you pull the mic?
Councilman Blake, you had a question?
Yeah. So are you in business right now?
No, I'm not in business right now. This will be startup for me.
Okay.
I think the other ladies are already in business.
And do you have any restaurant experience or food service experience?
I do have some experience, yes. I worked in coffee house, food, coffee, for several years, many years ago. So, but I'm not bringing that, part to, the Whistle Stop. It would be basically, soups, salads, homemade ice creams, that we would have there.
And do you have an idea of how much startup capital you're going to need to get it going, and then what kind of equipment you'll have to bring in versus what's already there?
See what's already there. My startup price of approximately $6,000.
And that's mostly inventory and cleanup, and you'll use the equipment that's there?
Yes.
Okay. And then how long do you think it's going to take you to achieve profitability and be able to pay your bills?
Repeat, please.
Your break-even point, how many months will you have to be going before the business is actually profitable, do you think?
I think with the products that we have, probably, I would say maybe about 2 months.
Okay. Okay.
No. Thank you. Next person.
Mayor, I do have my hand up.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Your hand up for Veronica?
It was.
Veronica, could you please come back to the podium? Councilwoman Lipka would like to ask you a question. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Ms. Veronica. I was wondering in regards to the packet that we received, the financials that were on here from 1988, 1989, is that something that you pulled from other information, or is that something you pulled from past business experience that you've had with a business?
It probably was put in by mistake. I was doing a comparison of other whistle stops, if you will. And so that
Okay.
by mistake.
Okay. And then the other question I have for you is when you were talking about a 6,000 startup cost and using the equipment that's there, are you familiar with what the equipment is? Have you gone in there and checked it out to see if it works and what's actually there?
Now, it was vandalized. And so when I went in with Mr. Maitland, I believe yes, when I went in with him, The lights, of course, were not there. The windows were broken. It was in a complete disarray. And so I could not try out the machines that were there. So I was waiting for the opportunity, but he left. He's no longer with Ferguson. And that kind of left me in a hole because the next day we were supposed to, but we did not go through with it.
Have you had
I
a
don't know
chance
if they
to
work.
set up, have you had a chance to set up that type of walkthrough with Miss St. Pierre?
I have,
Okay, I can't hear you.
no, I have not done a walkthrough recently with Ms. St. Pierre.
Okay. The only other concern that I have is, you know, the food that you want to make sounds wonderful. Don't get me wrong. I'm not criticizing that at all. The food cost for such a variety of food can be pretty hefty. Are you going to be looking into setting up contracts with food service providers? Or are you looking at doing, you know, doing runs to Sam's Club and Costco's? You know, how are you looking to be as efficient as possible with your dollars and still maintain your menu?
I have not set up any contracts because when I was
No, yeah.
Cleveland, is that correct? Yeah. Yes. He was supposed to give me the contract of what they would actually fix in the building. And he didn't want me to do anything until then because he wasn't sure what was going to happen. So
Okay.
next week he left. I was not able to, so I didn't want to put too much effort into it and I didn't know anything. So I've been waiting for quite a while just to get the information. I do have people that want to give funds, I guess you would say, to me.
Invest.
To invest into the company.
That's awesome. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Ms. Veronica?
Well, the question, Mayor, it's for Ms. Veronica, and it's just for, so it's kind of for everyone. So let me go back to the page, because it's kind of, okay, that's so good. Okay, so at the end, okay, it says Veronica, we need your projected revenues and expenses incorporating all the details you discussed in the marketing plan, sales strategy, distribution channels, financial plan. And so as I look through the entire presentation, I guess my question is, where is that located for all three of the women who are presenting? I mean, am I overlooking that information?
They all provided it.
So, I mean, for clarity, he asked her for that information, but it's not indicated in the presentation for the other two applicants either. I mean, do you all see that information?
So when she's done, we're gonna have her come up and answer. the
Okay.
question.
So that's why I said it wasn't just for you, it was just, but the email was sent to you in the presentation. It was directed at you, so, okay, thank you, ma'am.
Before you go, Ms. Veronica, are there any other questions? Are there any other questions? Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Next.
Mr. Ashby, if you can ask the same question, please.
Oh, yeah. So you're in business right now, right?
Yes, company's called That's So Good Pop-Up Buffet,
And can I ask what you did in revenue last year?
52,000.
And that,
Just being a pop-up with a tent
With
and
tent.
catering and stuff like
okay. And then how long have you been in the restaurant business or food service business?
that. Been in my own company 2017, but prior to that, I've been working for casinos and hotels for my whole life. So my whole work journey was culinary.
And what do you think your startup costs are going to be?
I have not had a walkthrough. I've never seen the inside of the building. I've seen pictures. But I made a business plan and I've updated it. And I think that I need at least $20,000 for things that I need for it to be like updated with a vibe, food. I've created a menu, well, we'll create a menu where I can use the same products to make the same different recipes with the same products, so I can save on cost. I have partnered with local food banks to help assist me with produce, with a farm as well for future months for spring and summer. I've partnered with different farms so I can have fresh produce. And a smaller menu option, so it could be fast, efficient, grab and go type of thing. Not a lot of parking space up there, so I'm looking for like gourmet to go.
Ask one more question.
Yeah.
Well, and so a lot of people that start with pop-ups, you know, dream about having a physical location, but it's really kind of a different thing. It's you know, it's every day, set hours and all that. How have you planned on covering the labor? Are you going to be the person there all the time, or how do you plan on staffing it? And how many hours are you going to be open each day?
I'm looking to be open.
Speak in the mic, Nisi.
In operations Monday through Friday. I prefer to do breakfast or like the whole early at 6 a.m. And I'm looking to at least generate $3,000 a week at the minimum. I do pretty good with my catering and private events, but if I have a local area where people can come in and have that experience, taste the food, and just have a place to come, I think that it will generate a lot of money in Ferguson. I have an audience in Ferguson. People know me in Ferguson, and I just feel that if Ferguson would lend a helping hand and assist me or the fellow applicant, it will bring a new entity to the Ferguson. New food, new energy, it's new everything, a new taste. Healthy food selections is another thing I would like to introduce. And also giving back to the community is what I'm all about. I would like to have one of those days, Monday through Friday, where I provide free meals for maybe 1 hour of the day at night, to maybe the homeless or something, some way I can do something to give back to the community on a one basis.
And you've got your capital lined up. You've got your 20,000 ready to go.
Presentation that I just left the meeting today with Spectrum for the Pay It Forward incentive. You are more than welcome to look that up. There's incentives that come with the recipient. So I'm just not learning all the things I'm getting today, but I know they're giving me $45,000 for marketing for the next 3 months. I know that they're going to pay for my accounting and bookkeeping and all the things that come there. I don't know, but I know I have some type of cushion that helps students. And I would love to see the inside, so I can see what is needed. And it might be less than what I already have available to you. That way there be more money to purchase more food and different things to put inside of the building. So just viewing it is very important. Any more questions?
Councilwoman or?
Yes, so what you just spoke to regarding getting the help in, with your, business from Spectrum, would you be able to provide us with documentation showing that? So that we could just review, I mean, because it's a big commitment and we want, it's not that we don't want you in the whistle stop or any candidate, it's applicant, you know, it's just it's a large commitment and so. But I know you from around, so that's why I said I remember your face. But just so we can, you know, review that information and understand it as you do.
Following this meeting, documentation that they assisting me with this project and any other project that I enjoy. So not only do I do this as a podcast as well, helping assist with food and stuff like this, so there's an audience and all different avenues that will bring that money to Ferguson and different people, you know, in different areas. But they might be scared and supposed to come out, or they might think that it's bad because of the things that happened in the past. So people don't like to come to Ferguson, so I want them to have a reason to go. And it's good for you and affordable.
Thank you.
And hopefully big portions.
For questions? Questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I do have my hand up.
I see you, Councilwoman. We need to put you in your seat. Okay, Councilwoman Lipka.
So, Miss Larry, I wanted to ask you, I know you mentioned something on your packet presentation that we have about, and you may have answered this, so please, I couldn't hear you. You may have already answered this, but I know you have the program with Spectrum, and I know that they're doing a lot of work with you with branding and that kind of thing, and they're also helping you financially with some things. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, you've also done work, not just in North County. Can you kind of tell the council some of the background you've had throughout all of St. Louis and the repeat business that you have acquired? And can you speak into the microphone loud?
Okay, I started my company in 2017. I came from the Hilton and Ameristar casinos, and I was fired from my job from being tardy. And that's the honest truth. So I became an entrepreneur. And after that, a business took off. I quit my jobs and I started working in the hallway at Better Family Life. And Better Family Life is a cultural arts center in the mid part of St. Louis City. And in that resource center, they have different people that come in and have meetings, such as St. Louis County Police Department, St. Louis City Police Department, the Urban League. I've worked with them as well. And also the churches in the city, again, Operation Food Search, Fox 2 News, and a lot of other entities in the city of St. Louis. So I can't just say everything, but I'm all over the place. I'm trying to generate an institutional wealth for my family. I don't know how to do it. I don't know the means of doing it, but I just know that the journey has been awesome. I just received a phone call as well from the Ferguson newspaper in regarding to doing a spotlight story on me, in addition to having this meeting this week. So I'm vibing around the community. I just want, since I have this vibe right now and I'm so trendy, why not be in Ferguson at the Whistle Stop? Bring back the ice cream, bring back the walking neighborhood stuff that they used to do back in the day, and just keep everyone smiling with good tasting food, no matter who's in the location. We wanted to thrive and be somewhere new to come to and a new conversation piece.
Thank you.
When Councilman Ashby asked you about assistance, your staffing, I couldn't hear your answer. Do you mind repeating that a little bit?
Staff as of yet, but I do have an organization that I'm working with. When I do finally find a brick and mortar, they will pay for the employees through a grant program. I'm not sure the name of it, but the grant program will pay the employees to work for me. And I probably don't need that many, maybe just 2 or 3.
Okay.
And I'm willing to provide employment for a local, household in the city of Ferguson.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. That's all I had.
My number one question is not for you, but I think you all should go into the Whistle Stop and tour it first. I really do. Because I know Veronica says she had not been in there. And have you had an opportunity to tour?
I've requested to see the building because I've had some of my sponsors to come, they wanted to see what they needed to do as well. And some of my construction. I have not had the opportunities to go see it. They sent me a few pictures, but it wasn't visible enough to see what type of equipment I would need, refrigeration, storage, tables, anything like that I wasn't able to see.
I think it's very important for you to tour it, both of you, really, because it may be less or it may be more. And I don't want you to get in there and think one thing and it comes out to be another. The goal is for whoever we decide to occupy that space be successful. We do need you to tour that building.
Do you all have a date in mind that would be upcoming for us to view the property?
Rachel?
Yeah, I'll get that set up to Rachel.
And the third applicant as well, right?
Yeah.
I would also recommend to the 3 applicants that they bring along some people, somebody, their mentor, their support people, to help them really figure out the realistic numbers of the repair, the install, the maintenance, the upkeep, all of that good stuff.
Yeah, Mayor, my question is, and you guys have the ultimate say, but these two ladies showed up tonight and the third person did not. That should mean something.
It does. I know to me it does. Doesn't mean it a difference. We have consensus that it does make a difference. I take, Linda would say yes, Councilwoman would say yes. Okay. Thank you.
We'll set that meeting up and we'll get back to you for next council.
Okay, thank you. All right. Thank you, Rachel. Thus end our discussion until they have an opportunity to view the premises and bring whomever with them, construction people, your sponsors, whomever, so you could get a thorough picture as to what needs to be done and what does not need to be done. Thank you. We move to miscellaneous. Councilwoman Noah.
Mayor, and thank you to everyone in regards to moving forward with the resolution, to move forward with the resolution to work with the WISE, is it WEES or WISE group? For the street improvements. I'm hoping that there's an opportunity to repair more streets, including comprehensive patching of potholes on Ward 3 streets. Next, we have the South Central Ferguson Neighborhood Association meeting. We're going to meet Zoom on Thursday, January 25th at 6 p.m. The Nesbitt-Newton meeting will be next Wednesday, January 31st at 6 p.m. at the Ferguson Empowerment Center. And the next Forest Wood Neighborhood Association meeting will be Tuesday, the first Tuesday of the month, February 6th at Emmaus Bible Chapel at 7 p.m. Residents can call in or Zoom. Other than that, that's it for me. Everyone be safe and thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Noor. Councilman Ashby.
Yeah, a few things. Really wanted to say thank you to the staff for all the progress we're making. I know we've been talking about getting a grant writer since even before I was on the council, and so it's nice to see some movement on that. And, you know, everybody wants there to be big changes in Ferguson, but really it's lots of little things we have to correct. And it's just, it's wonderful to see the staff kind of coming together and figuring out those little things and taking the steps to move our city forward. I also wanted to say thank you to Councilwoman Day for coming and speaking to the Jeske Park Association, a neighborhood association last week. Appreciated her time. And, you know, really just want to say thank you to the citizens for continuing to care about our city. You know, every city has its rough patches and we certainly had ours. But just the fact that so many people came out to a council meeting again is really just heartwarming. It really does show how many people care about our city and how we're all working together to try and make it work. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Ashby. Councilwoman Robinette.
I have nothing to say. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilwoman Lipka.
I have nothing, Mayor.
Okay, Councilwoman Nelson.
Like a stop sign in Ferguson. Just wait a minute.
Just bow. Okay.
Woman Noah already reminded everybody about the Forest Wood meeting on February 5th. I do want to say a quick thank you to our first responders, the fire department, as well as the police department. For I know a busy day yesterday and being out in that icy streets for us. I really do appreciate that. And I don't know if everybody saw the video that kind of made it all over the place about the fire truck that in South County that spent around, but it just made me think about our fire department and just how much they do for us and how much we appreciate you so much. So. To remind our residents about being on the boards and commissions. I've always gonna say that to you all the time. There's still plenty of spaces on several of the boards and commissions. It's a great time, a place for folks to hear of what's going on in your city and have their voices heard as well. So just a reminder about boards and commissions, and there's still plenty of seats available on some of those boards and commissions.
That's it. Thank you. Clerk Pittman.
Sure. So I do have a reminder that for our board and commission members, that you are not allowed to be in delinquent of any of your taxes. And this is the season for verification, so that process is underway. So please, if you have not, please make sure you get those taxes paid so that your position on that board is not in jeopardy. And then second, I'll announce the candidates for the upcoming election. We have filed the necessary paperwork. And so for Ward 1, there's Phaedra Nelson and David Williams. For Ward 2, Jamil Franklin, Nick Kassoff, Blake Ashby, and Erica Brooks. And Ward 3, Lamika Covington and Naquita Noah. That's all I have.
Thank you. Attorney Carey. City Manager.
I have one other thing. On Hudson Road, there's apparently a big pothole.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've been getting calls
So,
about that all day.
If your tires pop from it, contact St. Louis County Public Works. That is a county road. We also have put up barricades and we have filled it in, but we're trying to avoid people driving over it tonight. We just want to address that.
Drive around it.
Councilwoman Lipker, I see your hand up.
Drive around it.
Okay, thank you. Just want to share with everyone, I have to do community service for our advanced program for the Missouri Municipal League. And my community service after talking to our clerk and our city manager, it will be on boards and commission. And the service is simply because people have called me and asked me the background information about boards and commission. So the class will be February the 20th, which is a Tuesday from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock. Everyone who attends will receive the board and commission packet. We will go over the various information in the boards and commission, so you will be able to make a good decision as to where would you like to serve your community. And hopefully the takeaway, you will have general knowledge about the boards and commission and where you would like to serve. So this packet has a lot of great information. If you're planning on attending the class on February the 20th from 6 o'clock to 7, please call Octavia to order a packet. I'm putting her on the spot, but we'll be going through the boards and commission packet. Thank you. That's all I have. No.
Right quick, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Ferguson Historical Society, for this great book. I forgot to mention it, but this is really nice, so thank you.
Thank you very much.
What edition did they give you? The latest edition. Okay, thank you.
Well, it's published by the Ferguson Historical Society, 1994. So this is from 1994.
That's
If
not
you
the
have them all, you've
1994
actually lived
edition.
through.
That's the newer edition.
This the latest edition?
Yes, it is.
Okay, well, this is, thank you, Ferguson Historical Society. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
It's
You're
even more
welcome.
interesting when you have the older ones, which we do in my household.
At this time, I request a motion and a second to adjourn.
So move. Second, Naquita Noah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Have a great night. Thank you.